Nevada County. I grew up there, and sorry, a little nervous, but I was really active as a kid. I liked to play outdoors a lot. I had quads growing up, rode bicycles. My sisters and I, because I also have an older sister, his name is Jasmine, who's not with us today. She was unavailable to come, but my little sister's here. I also brought some photos that I'll go through in a minute, but that's me when I was younger, and you can see my legs in the picture because I had orthopedic surgery. You can see where it was bowed at the bottom. Growing up, I did a lot of activities, but when I hurt my leg somehow, because I was born with bowed legs, and then I damaged my growth plate, which I'm not exactly sure how I did. But either way, I started to have problems as I got older. And when I was about 7 or 8, I had trouble walking, and I had a lot of pain in my legs, and by the end of the day, it would just be hard to sleep at times. So that's when my mom started looking into things of maybe going to see a doctor. But growing up, it was hard at first because I was teased a lot and everything, but I grew out of that, and now I'm really confident. I do a lot of different things. I am very active. I'm actually a travel agent, so I travel a lot. I traveled to Europe for last year and spent 3.5 months there, so I'm quite outgoing and do a lot now. I'd also like to dedicate this to Ron Lockyer, who was a Shriner who passed away about 7 years ago, but I got really close to him during my stay in the hospital, and he really made my stay really amazing. I first came to Shriners in 1997 towards the end of the year to be checked out and to be seen by the doctors. My first time when I was in the Shriners, I went in front of a panel of doctors, which to me felt like I was in front of like 100 people, but I'm pretty sure it was probably like 6 or 8 doctors. But I had to walk back and forth in a thing like this, and then they had me sit on a table and look at my legs, which for me was really scary because as a kid I didn't go to the doctor a lot. Occasional checkups and dentist appointments, but for the most part I didn't go, so it was kind of terrifying. My first surgery I had in March of 1998, March 17th, and I had orthopedic surgery. I was put into a body cast, which was, I thought, body cast for me was from like your waist down, and I woke up and it was like armpits down. I couldn't really move and do a lot, so now thinking about it's kind of funny, but I was stuck with my legs with a bar between them, and it was really hard at first because at night I had trouble sleeping. I was really hot. I was, used to being in a colder climate, living in Nevada County and being in Sacramento. It was really different. So they did a lot. The staff at the hospital did quite a lot to make my stay more comfortable, which was nice. I shared a room with a girl when I first came into the hospital, and her name was Salam. And the day before I had surgery, I got into my room and I saw a child sitting there, and she was so burnt. I thought she was a boy, which was really hard because I grew up with sisters, so I wasn't sure what it was like. But she ended up being like my best friend when I was in the hospital, which was really nice because we spent most of our days together playing and doing activities, and we'd go outside and play on the basketball courts and everything. I know that every time I'd come to the hospital, the clinic staff was absolutely amazing. They would always make you feel really comfortable. I remember one girl specifically, her name was Carrie Soleil, and she's still friends with me today, and she has 3 little boys, but in the hospital, she was always really bright and cheery, had a great big smile, and every time we'd come in, the hospital staff knew you by name, which for me was amazing because I was like, it seems like such a large place. And the clinic staff were always really friendly and fun. When I'd go in, I remember when I'd go to get x-rays, being so little, you weren't allowed to take anyone in the x-ray room with you, so for me it was kind of scary, but the x-ray tech was really great. He would always talk to me and be like, we're right here, it's okay, because you'd have to stand really still. for them to take the pictures. And I know the first time I had it done, I was really nervous. I wasn't sure, and he, told me it was okay. And then I was like, well, what do you do with those? How do you take the picture? I don't understand. And he took me and showed me like the machines that they put it in to develop the X-ray film, and then what it came out and what it looked like. And he showed me the X-ray and what the different bones were, which to me I just looked like a skeleton, wasn't anything. But it was really nice that he took the extra time to make me so comfortable there. My mom was able to stay with me some of the time in the hospital, which made it really nice because I've never really spent time away from my family. I didn't have a lot of family close by growing up, so having my mom stay with me sometimes and having my sisters come down, and when my sisters or my friends would come down and there's the rec area you could play in, they would always let them come and play and paint and do the activities they were all doing, which was really nice because it wasn't like, they weren't allowed to because they weren't patients. The staff really just made everyone feel extremely welcome. I remember having a night nurse, and I cannot remember his name, but he was really funny, and because I had trouble sleeping sometimes, he would come in and talk to me at night and let me watch movies, even though sometimes I don't think they're supposed to after 9 o'clock. It was really nice, because being so hot and so uncomfortable in the body cast, the little things really, really made a difference and did a lot. Two other people that were really great were George and Tim, and they were cast guys, and I'll show you a picture of them. It's not that I'll go through the pictures at the end, but I have pictures of them, and they were always really funny and really cool. And I know that my first cast was purple, so I was a huge purple body cast. And then when I had that cast taken off, I was put into a leg cast, which was pink and green, I think. And it was like green with pink swirls. And then I broke that cast being so active and want to go. I thought I could do everything in a cast and crutches. And I went back and I asked for 3 colors, and they said they'd never done one, but they'd be happy to. So I have a picture with my leg cast that has 3 different colors on it. So I thought it was really cool that they, not just one color cast, they did it so it was like unique and a little bit more like me. One of the ladies that was in the activities center, her name was Cammie, and she used to help do the different activities down there when we go down to play, and I remember she'd sit and do paint by numbers with me, which I thought was really cool because I've never done that. They were just really nice. They'd go out of their way to help you do different things. There was also a volunteer who would come in, and he helped me build like a little model car, which I'd never done, and it took me probably a good few days to do it, but he sat with me for hours and helped me super glue everything together. And I still have it at home, and I won't get rid of it because it means too much to me. A lot of the activities in the Shiners that are put on were amazing. They made my stay so much more like home because I wasn't able to go home. I stayed about 6 weeks in the Shiners the first time, which I live in Nevada County. It's about an hour and a half away or so it's hard for people to come visit me because it was so far away. The first time I was in the hospital, I was there for Easter, which was amazing. I woke up, there was an Easter basket next to my bed, and then after breakfast, we were allowed to go down to the rec area, and they had all kinds of games. They did pin the tail on the donkey. They just had a lot of games. They played bingo, and they had a giant Easter bunny, and it was really a lot of fun because Easter is one of my favorite holidays, and I miss the egg hunts, and being in the hospital, they did that, which made the stay so much better than, just to stay in the hospital. They also brought dogs in, which was wonderful. I remember seeing them come in, I think once a week or every couple weeks, but I had dogs growing up, and for me, when they brought the dogs in, it was just like, I don't know, there's that connection you have with a pet that makes life so much easier. It's your best friend. And when they had the dogs in there, they would, sit on you and play with you, and it was just so nice, and they were so sweet. I actually have a picture I brought with me of me and like 4 dogs. So that was always really wonderful. Another activity that I did while I was at the Shriners, it was amazing because I'd never been before, was they took us to the Sacramento Zoo. I went along with, I think, 3 or 4 other kids, but for me it was really awesome because I was in a body cast, so my legs kind of stuck sideways and I couldn't fit through doors as easily, and I was just like, well, I can't use, the regular bathroom, so how am I going to go to the zoo? There's no, I don't have my bed with me, but my great mom sitting over there was Mrs. Bedpan so that I could go to the zoo. And it was such a great experience. I loved it so much and had so much fun. It was really great. I know another thing that they had going on at the Shriners while I was there is they'd have different people come in, and then I think it was maybe a high school or college orchestra come in, which was wonderful. I actually had like eaten something bad, so I couldn't go down there because I was feeling sick, but I could go to the balcony from where the floor is where the patients are and see over the balcony and hear it and watch it from there, which I thought was really special, and it was a great experience. They also had the playground outside, and because I had surgery in March, the weather was nice a lot of the times, and we were allowed to go out there and play. I remember playing basketball, and the playground was great because you could actually go up it with your wheelchair and around, even if you couldn't get out. So for me, that was awesome because I was still able to play outside and do things without having to just, sit in a chair. Which is really nice because I spent most of my time as a kid playing in the dirt and having fun and riding my bike and everything. So I brought some pictures that I wanted to share with you. This is of me. I think that's probably like 6 here, and you can see where my right leg is straight and my left leg is bent. That was before I had surgeries, and that's my bowed leg before it straightened out. I damaged it, I'm not sure quite how. This is another picture. I was about a year and a half older, I think, where you can see my leg and how bent it was, and that was before I had surgery. That's me being active as a kid. That was after my first surgery, like the year after or 2. But I was really active, lived out in the country. It snowed a lot, and I loved riding quads, so. That's 2 days after I had surgery. I had surgery on a Wednesday, and that was Friday. This was down in the kitchen area where you could go down and cook, which was wonderful because I loved cooking as a kid. So being able to go down there, I remember we made chocolate chip cookies one day, and that's Ron, who I always called Grandpa Ron, and I kept in contact with until he passed away about 7 years ago, and it was really amazing. He really did a lot, even when I wasn't at the hospital. He'd send me letters, and we'd go meet and have lunch occasionally, and he'd always tell me about his trips to San Francisco, and at that time I don't remember going to San Francisco, and he'd send me some different things, and it was really amazing. And that blanket that I have right there was given to me by one of the Shriners' wives that comes around, and I still have that at home. So that's another picture, and I forget the girl's name, but the boy's name is Jonathan, and we were really good friends when we were in the hospital. And it was nice. I mean, even though I was in there for 6 weeks, so I made friends fast, and it was nice because it's like you always had your friends you saw every day, just like when you go to school. So it made the stay so amazing. There's me with the dogs that they brought in. Of course, being in a body cast, I had to be in a wheelchair, but I had to spend about half my time on the gurney so that I didn't get any rashes or sores from sitting too long. There's me again. I used to keep my hair braided because sitting so much, it would just get really tangly. So my mom would always braid it for me. This was Easter. That's my little sister to my right, my friend Leslie to my left, my older sister, and then Jamie on the far right. So they came down for Easter. We were playing bingo and just enjoying it, having a lot of fun. That's my favorite nurse, and I can't remember her name, but she was always so fun and just so nice, and she really made it didn't matter what I had to do. If I had to, at first I didn't like having to lay on my side in the body cast because it was such an awkward position. They'd prop you up with pillows, and they had movies you could check out, and there was a little sign sheet someone would bring around every day, and you could sign for 3 or 4 movies, and they'd bring you a couple of them every day, which was great because There was, the activity center was open a lot during the day, but there was times it wasn't open, like a couple hours at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So there was other things to do. So they'd bring us movies and crossword puzzles, coloring books, or just other things that we could do in our room, which was really nice. And they also let us go into other kids' rooms, so you could watch movies with them, which I did a lot when I was downstairs in the rec area. That's me getting my hair washed. I wasn't too excited about it, but it had to be done. You can see my body cast went down on my right leg only to my knee, and then I had a bar across, which you can kind of see. So that's Cammie in the activity center. That's when we were down there just doing different activities during the week. That's Tim on the left and George on the right. They're the guys that did the cast. They're really awesome. I don't remember why I was down there that day. I think they were shortening the part on my right leg because it was so long that when I bent it would rub. So they just cut a little bit off and adjusted it for me. That's Carl. That was one of my friends in the hospital. He was from Alaska and he had had his arm smashed by a beam. He was the sweetest kid ever. He was so much fun to hang out with, and even though I was in a chair and he could walk, we'd always go out on the playground and do activities together and just hang out. It was a lot of fun because I made a lot of friends while I was there. Well, that was two of the nurses when I was getting checked at lunch one day. And this is at the zoo, and there's my mom who came with us, and then two of the girls that were with us as well. Just a lot of fun. I couldn't believe I actually got to go to the zoo with being in a chair like that. It was really amazing. And that is the day after I got my body cast off, and they put me in a leg cast, and so I just wanted to sit up with my right leg bent since I hadn't for so long. That's my friend Jonathan, and then that's Dr. Yinger, who's one of the surgeons on my first surgery. This is outside. I'm right there after I got my body cast off, and the girl with her back to us, that's Salam. I don't have any really good photos of her, but we were best friends in the hospital. We pretty much spent every day together. That's the day I got my leg cast off and was leaving the Shriners. That's my mom and Ron. And this was the first, they're kind of out of order, but this was when I first started walking on crutches with my leg cast, which was a few days after I got my body cast off, and they worked with you really well. I remember going up and down the stairs was the hardest part to try to do, because after being, sitting for 6 weeks, I kind of forgot, my momentum and balance, so it was really hard at first, but after a couple days I really got it, did well. This was at a friend's house, and you can see my leg cast with my 3 colors. I was hanging out, just enjoying the outdoors with friends, and that's my dog Hazel, and then our friend's puppy. This is just another day I went to the Shriners. I think it was just for a checkup in the clinic. That's Carrie, or my mom, Carrie, and myself, and my friend Jamie. Carrie worked in the clinic for a few years, and she's really made it when I first went in there, because I was pretty scared, and I'm not used to going to the doctors and being in there, and there's so many different things, and the smell of the hospital that's kind of odd, and you're not used to it. She really made you feel welcome. I remember, when you come in for the clinic and a visit, they'd always give you like a stuffed animal or a toy or something. There's a coloring book for you to do, so she always let us, they always let us take them home. And I know my little sister was with me today, was with me one day, and they brought in a toy for me and didn't know that she was there. So then, Carrie walks out and comes back with something and gives it to her, because she's a couple years younger than me, so she really made a difference. That was me when I was about 17 for one of my surgeries. I don't really have many other pictures that I can find. I just moved a few weeks ago, so I tried to dig through boxes to get everything out. I think that's this Ron actually gave me, and it's a memento of the Shriners Hospital when it was dedicated on June 1st in 1997. He gave me a lot of really, really nice things. I have a bunch of Shriners pins and just a lot of different memorabilia that he gave me, which I cherish, because he made everything so amazing. And I'm so thankful and feel so blessed that I can do what I can do today. I used to have a lot of pain in my legs growing up. I still do occasionally when the weather changes, but I spend a lot of time at the gym because it helps a lot more than the medication does. I can run, but don't too often because it's not my favorite thing, but I work out a lot. I actually ran a Tough Mudder last year, which I was extremely proud of. And if you don't know what it is, it's a 12-mile mud run with 27 military obstacles. I did it by myself, and I finished. It took me a few hours. But I am extremely proud to say that I did it, and I have plates in both my legs. I've had quite a few surgeries, but I'm standing, I'm wearing heels, I can dance, I can, walk. I'm eternally grateful to the Shriners for what they've done for me, and they've opened so many opportunities for me because without the surgeries I've had and the experience I've had, I wouldn't be who I am today, and I probably wouldn't be able to do what I can do. So thank you guys, because you guys have made it happen, and I appreciate it. Just want to mention one other person, Preston James, because he was the main surgeon on my surgeries, and he was absolutely amazing. When I'd come into the hospitals and they'd talk about the surgeries, he'd go through step by step what they were going to do, and he really, really was amazing, just going through in detail, making me understand what they're doing. I mean, I was little, but it was really nice that he went and spent that extra time. So, Dr. Preston James. That's right, thanks, Mom. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You say you're in the travel agency? You do a lot, you fly a lot?
Yes, I do.
And you get plates in your legs?
Yes.
Good luck.
Well, they've changed technology in airports now, so they don't actually go off. A couple years back, it was different. Before Sacramento went through their redo, I actually did get patted down and wanted down and checked out because I would go off. Luckily, they've changed technology, so it's better, so you don't have to worry.
Good, thank you. Thank you so much.